Hello. Here's a little build guide for a low-life Scion that uses Reap, Exsanguinate, and Corrupting Fever. First, an overview of the build. The clear with Exsanguinate is really strong and can off-screen fairly well, but can struggle a little bit with very large groups of enemies due to Exsanguinate's target limit, even when paired with Unleash and Chain. As for the bossing, it's comfortable, but it's not on the bleeding edge of single-target DPS, similar to most spell dot builds. Both the raw effective HP and the sustain of this build are really high, particularly when clearing, thanks to the Ascendant's Trickster node. And the build is easy to play, with only one maintenance buff in Corrupting Fever, with quite a fun playstyle, particularly when bossing where you quickly cycle between Reap and Exsanguinate to keep both damage over time effects up. Chain with Exsanguinate is also really satisfying. Overall, this is a nice balanced build that's quite smooth to play and makes for an excellent league starter. Here's the finished passive tree for the build at level 95. You can also use cluster jewels to add more damage, but lose out on a decent bit of life. An example of this is included in the path of building linked in the description. Now on to the gems. For Exsanguinate, you can swap out Chain for Swift Affliction if you want a little bit of extra single target DPS for boss fights, but it isn't very necessary since Corrupting Fever and Reap can carry you in this department. And if you feel like you really want Fortify, you can run Leap Slam with Fortify or a Vigilant Strike setup, but the build is plenty tanky without it. For your gear, your staff should have +3 to physical gems and physical dot multiplier as a baseline. Any extra spell damage, cast speed, or generic dot damage is gravy. You'll want to get Elder or Hunter gloves and amulet with physical dot multiplier for bonus damage. And a source of physical damage leech helps with survivability a lot, since Petrified Blood allows you to overleech. I use the physical Doriani's Invitation Belt for this, since I play solo self-found, but you can also roll physical damage leech on your Elder or Hunter amulet and use a better belt instead. You'll want to get a hat crafted with Essence of Hysteria for the low life damage boost to your Corrupting Fever. You can do the same with Elder Gloves to hit both physical dot multiplier and the more damage over time for socketed gems from Essence of Delirium, but it's harder, and you should only do so if you have a specific unique helmet you'd want to use in mind, or you have a lot of extra essences laying around. Vulnerability needs a curse on hit Warlord's Influenced Ring or an unset ring for self-casting in order to fit into the build. And lastly, Lori's Lantern is a nice little ring for survivability on a low-life build, but is by no means necessary. Some extra nice things to have include Awakened Chain to help increase your clear with Exsanguinate, and any of the other Awakened support gems that fit into this build to increase your damage by just that little bit more. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye!